When I think about all the different villains in the movies, the one that always comes up, the one that intrigues me the most is the Joker. The Joker isn't just a villain. The Joker also, in my view, and maybe yours after you watch this video, kind of highlights what could happen when you push somebody too far. When society, the pressures of society, when the pressures of somebody's life gets pushed too far, we could go into darkness. We could become what we call the Joker. See, the Joker is just, to me, is just a reflection of all of us. And I think this is why his character in all the different Batman movies and even in the comic books transcends generations. We all can understand on some level that feeling that we have inside of us that we could turn dark. My name is Jared Schoonmaker. This is Magnetic Men's Club. A little bit different video today. We talk a lot about positivity. We try to talk a lot about in this channel about, dating, relationships, leveling yourself up. But there is a side to all men and women. There is a side to us that we all resonate with. We can all tap into if pushed too far. And that's this chaos, this anger, this frustration, kind of feeling that we all just want to burn Rome to the ground. I felt that way in many different parts of my life, going through my divorce, the death of my wife, just raising my kids. Sometimes you just have this darkness of, things aren't going right. And so when I watch these movies, to me, the hero in the movie is always the Joker. Because he does blur the lines between good and evil. And through his character, you can almost see that those lines are very blurred, that they don't mean as much, because he's doing the things he's doing for the masses, for those people who are lost in the crowds, for those people that are in the shadows. And he's just tired of it. So he's only highlighting what we all have within us. And I think that's why his character does transcend all generations. From a 15-year-old boy to a 90-year-old man, we've all felt that. We can all still feel that. The other part of the Joker that, for me, that I see is he's not just chaotic. He's not just unpredictable. He's not just violent. I mean, he's also vulnerable at times, especially in the beginning parts of the movies. If you remember the most recent one with, who's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. So if you remember that one with him, I think he portrayed what I'm thinking about the most in all the other Jokers that were out there. Is Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker is, he probably has some mental illness. He's clearly poor. He's clearly has some issues, but you see how society treats the mentally ill. You see how society kind of ignores that whole part of the population. And you see it in everyday life. I'm not correlating the Joker's role with people that mass shoot children. I'm not correlating the two. But you can see most of those people who create heinous, violent crimes all came from a mentally ill or a very dysfunctional background. And it's how they chose to escape. They chose darkness. They chose to basically fuck society and I'm going to do what I want to do. And they pay a consequence for that. I know people in situations where they've come from horrible backgrounds and they live amazing, productive lives. Does it still affect them? Sure, but it's the path that they chose. They chose to not go down that darkness. They chose not to inflict pain and heartache on other people, and to level and bringing themselves up. So the Joker also has that path. The other character in that movie is Batman. Well, if you look at Batman, yeah, of course, he comes from a privileged family. He's the richest man in Gotham. His parents were gunned down. And how did he choose to deal with the fact that he was an orphan? How did he choose that? Well, he used his money to become a symbol for good. And this is where those lines blur, because the Joker still thought through his mind he was doing what he was doing for good, for him, for the masses, for the people that were maybe forgotten about, for those disheveled people, for the people that were just cast aside from society. And Batman comes in, he's also helping those people, but in a positive way. He's keeping crime, or helping keeping crime at bay. And so those two lines, if you really think about it, those two lines are very blurred because they're both inflicting pain, they're both inflicting chaos, frustrations in just different ways. So I've never really thought there's much of a difference between right and wrong. It's how you perceive right and wrong. And I'm not going to get into all of that. There's clearly a difference between murdering somebody and not murdering them. But I'm saying that the why and why it happened, maybe not such a difference. And a perfect example of this, if you catch your wife in bed with another guy and you murder that guy, well, it was wrong to murder him, but in those emotional, that passion, that anger, that darkness that came out of you, you can understand why it happened. And this is why the Joker intrigues me so much, and millions of other people. We have this inside of us, and you do have a choice. You have a choice to feed that anger. You have a choice to feed that frustration, that anguish that you have, or in that same situation, which most of us have, this moral compass, this almost morality part of us that pulls us out of that and realizes, yeah, I could do this, but I'd be in jail or something would happen to me. And that stops us from doing it. Most of us are good. Most of us do yield to the light, but there are some people that yield to the dark, to that darkness. It's just an observation I have. It's just something that in this channel for men, we have this yin and yang. We have light and dark. And when a man goes dark, for whether it's things he did in his own life or things outside of his control that makes him decide to go dark, that's a dangerous man. That's a man who will probably be in jail, who will probably murder somebody. It could be men who rape. These types of men, if you want to call the toxic masculinity or the toxic traits of a man, come out. And if you're watching this channel, if you watch my other videos, this is also something that you have to understand. You have to understand your own power, your own positive power, and your own negative, dark hatred that we have inside of us. That's human nature. And if you feed into that too much and you do go dark and you do become that man who's just chaotic, unpredictable, you're not serving yourself, but you're also not serving the public. To be a positive man, to be that positive role model, to be into that light, is we are the protectors of society. It's weaker men, it's women, it's children. We are the protectors of that society. And so I love the Joker. I love what he represents. I love he's just a reflection of the choices that we do have. He is a reflection of that darkness. But I also love the fact that it's just a character. It's just these different actors, and even in the comic books, it's their interpretation of what could happen if a man goes dark. And they're using their skills and their knowledge and their talents as actors to portray that. With that, my name is Jared Schoonmaker. This is Magnetic Men's Club. Hope you found this video helpful. Please hit like, smash that subscribe button and the bell icon so you know when new videos are being made. With that, have a good one.